Hi, this is Alex,
And this is Annelies.
and this is our podcast called Deep Diving.
Yes.
Yeah, so in today's... No, actually, let's not dive straight into it. Let's see what we've been up to since we last seen each other.
Okay. So, I don't know. Not really that much has happened, let's say, in the objective reality. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of not low, let's say, but kind of introspective. This in these last days of the year, kind of already trying to project what I want in the next year.
Yeah,
I'm trying not to live for the next year,
Mm.
but at the same time I can't help but kind of take a break now so that I can do what I want to do in the next year. So I'm kind of having a process of making a vision board in my head these days.
I see. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I also want to make a physical one.
Yeah,
So that's where I'm at right
it's
now.
a good idea.
How about you?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm in a weird place, maybe. Just because, as you said, I'm not sure what I want to do next year. Or at least I'm kind of certain what I mean, of course I have to finish university, but after that I keep, like, all these ideas keep coming to my head, and then I don't know, I overthink everything, and I'm not sure if I should go there, if I shouldn't go there, if I should go start a job, whatever. I'm kind of confused about what I'm gonna do afterwards. Yeah, but I don't know. At the same time, I would like to be more thankful for this year, because there's a lot of good things that happened, and I'm grateful for everything that I've accomplished and all the people that I've met.
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should. Yeah, that's a good mindset. I'm also trying to do that because, I don't know, however confused we might be during our day-to-day lives, if we look back to the year that passed, I think all of us accomplished some nice things and a lot of stuff has happened. Actually, plenty of stuff has happened in my life, and sometimes I feel like I'm not aware of all the good and great things that happen. So yeah, that's a good mindset.
Yeah, because it's very easy for us to just dismiss and just think, oh, it's how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you actually start to think about everything, you realize that, oh my God, I've done so many things, and I don't know, I had a lot of things happen to me this year.
Do you want to do like a super short? This was not the plan, but do you want to do like a super short gratitude exercise, where you name like 3 things that happened to you this year that you're grateful for, and then I name 3.
Sure, honestly, yeah, because it's fitting. I mean, it's the end of the year. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, guys. Because I'm sure that it's gonna be already Christmas by the time we put up this episode.
Yeah, it's already Christmas in my house for like 2 weeks now. The tree is already getting dry.
But yeah, we could. It would be very nice.
Okay, you start.
Okay, so I'm thankful for this year. I'm thankful for not giving up on not my dreams but my ideas, because I've had a lot of times where I was very close to giving up on things that I wanted to do, and I am thankful for being persistent in that way and going for what I want. Should we do 1 each, or should we do 3?
No, go with all 3 of yours.
Okay. I'm thankful for the people that I've met this year, and for the connections that I've made, and just for the very nice conversations that I've had. Some very enlightening, some maybe not as much, but still very nice interactions. And I'm also thankful for my friends and for my family, of course. But yeah, I'm thankful for them for believing in me and for supporting me in the decisions that I've made this year, and for encouraging me and telling me that everything's gonna be fine. Don't worry about every little thing. So yeah, that's what I'm thankful for this year.
That was beautiful. And now I kind of feel nervous talking because in my head this was more pragmatic. Like I was just going to name 3 cool stuff that happened to me this year and just get over with it, and you're very emotional. So I think I'm still going to do it my way because, yeah, I feel like I don't have the resources, at least not right now, to be too vulnerable.
And now I'm gonna look like the sensitive guy, but it's fine.
It's good to be the sensitive guy. I am the sensitive girl too, but maybe not now. So, like 3 things that happened to me not happened to me, like I made them happen at the same time this year that I'm grateful for is getting married, which was a huge leap of faith for me, like a huge act of courage, not because, I don't know, marriage needs courage, but like for the way I've been until getting married, I think it's a big step I've made. And I think taking the decision to pursue my education in a field that I've always been passionate about, but I've never really considered doing something officially about it. I won't tell the field yet, but yeah, it's very related to the psychology degree that I already have, so I think it's going to bring a lot of joy to me to finally learn about that thing. And the third one is I'm thankful for this podcast. Like I'm thankful for you pushing me to do this with you. And I hope we're going to get more and more comfortable each episode.
Yeah,
and more inspired, and hopefully with other guests involved too, that are going to bring even nicer, brighter ideas.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
Yes. So.
Yeah, so let's actually dive deep into the subject of today, which is, so last episode we kind of left off with this question to you guys, asking you if you feel like you found home, and we said that Annalise said that we didn't really find home ourselves. And now in this episode we would like to talk about what home is.
Mm-hmm. Or at least what home is to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what is home to you?
Okay. So for me, I'm not very sure, because everyone tells you that it's the people, or more so it's the family. At least that's like a very traditional way of thinking of what home is to someone. But I do consider family to be a very important factor in this. But at the same time, I do think that it's also the people, like your friends and acquaintances and like everyone around you.
Mm-hmm.
And also, at least for me, a very important thing is the place. And maybe that's why right now I don't really feel like Cluj is my home,
mm-hmm.
because I consider that, or I believe that I've outgrown the city.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe I'm just naive, and there would be people telling me that, oh yeah, but there's like a lot of cool things, or you haven't explored the right places, which might be true. But from what I've seen and encountered, I do think, and I do stick to the idea that I don't feel like it's my home,
mm-hmm.
because of that.
Yeah.
I don't know, what about you?
I would like to say something sweet, like home is where my husband is, or home is where my family is. And that's only partially true. Like, even though I think that's a very important element of home, and that wherever I would go, I would need them to totally feel at home, I still don't think that just that is kind of enough for me, or not, at least not at this point, maybe. And so I've been thinking a lot these days. Like I said in the beginning, I'm kind of like reflecting a lot these days. And I've been thinking that something that I think is really important for me, because I didn't really experience it, but I can envision myself having that. So something that is super important would be community, and something that I'm craving right now, and I don't have it. And I don't really know how to get it, but I have this vision in my head, and I know it's going to be possible at some point in my life. So I think once I find a community, I will finally be able to say that I am home.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have this.
But how would you view this community? Like, is it a group of friends? Do you think it's, I don't know, living in a village or like in a small town where you know everyone, or you enroll in a club for a specific thing and then that would be your community? Like, how do you envision this community fitting into your life?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because in my head I have this vision of a place. I don't know the place, I've never been there, but I can envision this place where everybody knows everybody, maybe kind of like a little village. Although I never think about it in terms of, countryside, because then I could just move to the countryside. But I have this image of everybody knowing everybody, growing our own vegetables and sharing with each other, or having animals and sharing products with each other. And I don't know, maybe the women in the community raise their kids together and the men build together something or whatever. So I kind of have this ideal image in my head, but at the same time, maybe it's going to happen in a way that's totally opposite to this. Maybe I will finally feel home just when I find a super good group of friends that I'm enjoying to be around, and I don't know, maybe we go out every other day, or we have holidays together, or we go in vacations together, and maybe that's going to be enough for me to feel like, okay, here is where I belong.
Mm-hmm.
But for now I kind of see it in a super complex way, and I think that's what's also making me nervous about the future, because then I have this question like, how am I going to achieve that?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think this is how I see it.
Yeah, I do feel similar in a way that I lack a group of friends. Not that I don't have friends, because I do have close friends, but then at the same time it's exactly what you say. And I do think that the people in, I don't know, I don't want to generalize,
Mm-hmm.
but at least the people in my life tend to be very, I don't know how to say it, like independent, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of translates into us not seeing not seeing each other that much. And I'm not by no means a needy person or a needy friend,
For sure.
but I would enjoy, having like a small habit of meeting each other for coffee every Friday morning, for
Mm-hmm.
example, or every Saturday morning, or going to a movie every Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
like doing stuff like this, or going to each other's places and cooking or watching a series. And this is something that I don't do. Like most of the times that I meet my friends is when we go out. I mean, not just to the club, but we go out for drinks, or we sometimes do walks, and that's enjoyable. I do
Mm-hmm.
like that. But I would like to find new ways of spending time together,
Mm-hmm.
and not make it such a informal. I don't know. In a way, I maybe view going out too formal in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It feels very organized and very scheduled. Like, I can only meet you next week on Wednesday from 5 to 7. Let's go out for a coffee. And it feels like then it's the familiarity is took out of it. Because when you meet with like people who are really super close to you, like, I don't know, let's say my mom, then I can just call her and say, can I pass by?
Yeah.
So it feels very spontaneous and very natural, I don't have to schedule ahead just to get a coffee with her.
Yeah.
So I think yes, that's what I would like the same thing you say too. So maybe in this way I would even like it in a city. I wouldn't need to go somewhere on the mountains and have a garden.
Yeah, it would be nice. Just like, for example, yesterday I went to one of my friends that I went to the States with, and his group of friends, or at least the ones that I saw yesterday, was exactly like this. Like, three of his friends just happened to pass by and they stopped at his apartment and they stayed, they smoked a cigarette, and just stuff like this. You don't have to spend the whole day, but just like stopping by, checking in, having a coffee, discussing something. I feel like that's very, very cool and very, I don't know, reassuring in a way. And yeah, I do think that I lack that also.
Yeah, that sounds very good. And now that you're talking, I realize that kind of this is how I grew up, as in not necessarily me, but I saw my parents growing up like this. We lived in a apartment building, and everybody moved there kind of at the same time. It was a new building at that time, and all of them were kind of the same age, and almost all of them had kids that were around my age or my brother's age. And everybody was just like passing by, like neighbors just knocking on the door, a lady coming, having coffee with my mom, then going to her job, or a guy just coming in for a beer. So I've seen this like people coming and going and being natural and spontaneous. And it felt very good and very familiar. Like you felt like you're not handling everything alone in this life.
Yeah, exactly.
And that you don't have to. This also makes you feel like people want to be around you, because when you always have to schedule any kind of encounter, then it feels like people need to make an effort for you. And even for you, it might feel like, oh, it's an effort to, now I have to go take a coffee. Now when I would just like to chill.
Yeah.
So there's less flexibility, I think, in the way we have life now.
Yeah, but it definitely depends also on the jobs that everyone has, because I think, but this is also a mindset, because I do understand that it's very tiring, because I've worked 2 jobs, for example, this summer, but then it's a mindset of, okay, I am tired, I would go home and sleep and watch a movie by myself, but then at the same time I do find it comforting and relaxing to go and hang out with my friend, not drink, not black out, just like go have a talk, sit on the couch or in the bed, and then go home.
But that's when familiarity is also very important, because when you always have to have scheduled times for meeting your friends, then you feel like you can't just go and hang out with somebody. Like, I didn't see you in 2 weeks, I'm not just going to come and chill next to you, right? It feels like there's more pressure, like, oh, we need to talk or we need to do something.
Yeah.
So, but when you're super comfortable with the people around you, you can do a thing like this. Like, you can go straight from your job to their place, just like have a chat, I don't know, maybe drink a tea, talk about your day, and then go home. And then you already kind of feel recharged and you feel heard and you feel, I don't know, more comforted. So, yeah, I think when I will have that is when I could say that I found home.
Yeah, because I was telling you this, that right now I don't, as I said, I do have friends and close friends, and I don't want to dismiss that, but then at the same time, I don't feel like I have something holding me back from moving somewhere else. Like, if I would decide tomorrow, or if I'm thinking of, let's say, moving to, I don't know, Spain, yeah, of course I will miss my friends, but I don't know, as selfish or as bad as that might sound, I don't know, I wouldn't think that much, or I wouldn't consider that, I'm leaving my friends behind. Because I also know that nothing's gonna change, maybe that's also a thing, but I wouldn't necessarily think that, I'm leaving all these traditions, like mini traditions that I have with them, I don't know. And this is like, all these things are things that we can improve. It's not like, oh my God, our friends are bad. It's conversations that you need to have with people, and because it's a different mindset that maybe we have right now.
Yeah, that's also maybe because whether we like it or not, we kind of live in a very individualistic society. So even if we have friends, we care about them and stuff like that, ultimately everybody's on their own, doing their own thing and thinking their life is the top priority. And this mindset was fed to us too, with all these trends of like, love yourself, you're the most important, only you count, or whatever, how they say it. So I think it's kind of hard to take people out of that mindset and like reintroduce rituals, let's say, because rituals are something more from like a traditional background. But I think that's what made people feel more grounded back in the days.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they were open to having these rituals.
Yeah.
So even though our ritual right now might not be dancing around the fire, might be the Friday morning coffee, like you said, it's still a ritual and it's still something that makes you feel grounded. But people have to be open to that idea. But when you think that all life revolves around you and everybody thinks that the entire life revolves around just them and their problem and their career and their school, then, you know, it's just like circles that never intersect.
Yeah. It's also because of this capitalist mindset that everyone has nowadays. Like, yeah, go get the bag, you know, you do you.
Mm-hmm.
It's very instilled in our brains from social media and everything that you have to be the greatest. Nobody's gonna help you, which I wanted to say that you're gonna die alone, which is true.
Yeah.
But I do consider that having valuable interactions and relationships is important, and it's something that even on your deathbed you would appreciate.
Yeah, but and that's why I'm afraid to say that home is going to be in on that sunny island or in Spain or wherever, because as you said, there's this capitalistic lifestyle that's everywhere on this planet. So it's pretty hard to say that you're going to go somewhere and not have that. Like you can't really run away from it. So I was thinking about the same thing with community and service, like acts of service and stuff like that, in another context, as in a more like relationship kind of context. If you know Esther Perel, she's a couples therapist, and she was saying how the reason why so many relationships are troubled these days is because we expect from one person, which is our partner, to play the role of an entire community, of what back in the days an entire community used to provide. Mm-hmm. So we want our partner to be the best lover, we want to be our best friend, our help in the house, our listener, our therapist, our everything. And back in the days, people had communities to do all this stuff together. And then the main task was to set your priorities straight. Like, okay, what do I want, let's say, from my partner? I want him to be the best lover. Okay. But then I have my female friends who can be my best friends, and I have this old lady in town who can be my kind of like my therapist, and like all the other needs are fulfilled and satisfied. But these days, because we have such individualistic lives, we tend to just try to make one person fit all. Yeah. So I think we kind of do that in friendships too, maybe before relationships, or I don't know, in an earlier stage of life. I think this is the trend I've noticed, is that people kind of do the same thing that Esther Perel was talking about, but with their friends. Like I've seen a lot of cases where people only have like one friend and they want that friend to be everything. And if that friend can't be everything, like it's pretty hard to find a friend that's like willing to go clubbing with you, but also you can have 5 hours talk with them, but also you can study together. So if that friend can't be all, then you're like, oh, I'm going to die alone.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wonder if the same mindset that she was talking about could be applied to friend groups too, like to have, but then it's kind of opposite of what we were talking about, like to have friends we go clubbing with, friends we go talk to, friends we go gym with, we go to the gym with.
Yeah, but I feel like if you have, you know, that sense of community in your friend group, you're also understanding that, okay, he might not like to go to the club. But there's not that pressure that we have to do everything together. And it's as you said, in a way, I don't know. I've been saying this even before that I there is this trend that you say, I see it everywhere, that he is my best friend, she's my best friend, we are soulmates. They're looking for this or yearning for this soulmate as a friend. And you might find that. I'm not like, there's no denying that. But it's exactly what you said. If you don't find that, it doesn't mean that you're lost. Because I do believe, and I do consider every relationship or every interaction to be valuable, because there's different people that satisfy different needs of yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what you said. And for me, I've had an episode where I wasn't thinking like this last year, but I am trying to not dismiss people just because they don't fit everything that I would like them to be, and to appreciate them for what I get from them,
What they bring to the table.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, probably at the same time you are also not giving, you are also not fulfilling all the needs of somebody.
Of course.
So it works both ways.
Yeah, and you shouldn't feel offended if you're not invited to everything,
Yeah, but I have a question for you, because you're a very city kind of guy. Do you kind of crave for let's say more traditional lifestyle at some points, or not really?
Not really. I don't know. I don't think so. Like I don't really see myself old, but if I would see myself, I wouldn't see myself living in a secluded place. I see myself being that grandpa that goes does grocery, then maybe goes have a coffee. If I will still be interested in like film, for example, I would see myself going to the cinema, watching a movie, like having nice interactions. And yeah, I would like to have the same lifestyle that I have now, but more laid back. And I would have, not now that I don't have time, but I don't make time for these type of things, but like go have a coffee, read, be that like grandpa that everyone knows, that goes to that specific coffee shop and everyone knows, That's kind of how I view myself. I'm not sure regarding like grandchildren or anything, but
you're going to be a grandpa but no grandchildren.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't really see that, but who knows? But me as a person, like as an individual, apart from family, this is how I would see myself. Yeah. What about you?
I mean, I can't really think that far, as in how I would be when I will be old. But I asked you about tradition because I think it's something that's lacking in these days, or maybe it's just lacking from my perspective, or for me, maybe I'm the kind of person that needs more tradition, more structure, more like this sense of purpose. And I've really noticed it these days because Christmas is approaching, and Romania has a lot of beautiful traditions for important holidays, and especially for Christmas it has like tons of traditions in different regions of the country. And I heard this lady talking on the radio actually this morning while I was driving. She was talking about some traditions from Transylvania, and I was thinking that the fact that people had traditions back in the days gave them so much purpose and made it more obvious why they're doing what they're doing and why they're celebrating what they are celebrating. And that, I don't know, in these modern days, for me it feels like it's just a constant rush from like one daily activity to another, or like in the bigger picture from like one holiday to another, from one year to another. And in that sense, I would like to have tradition in my life to, I don't know, to be more connected to what is actually happening, and to not just rush through everything, and I feel like Christmas became this huge rush for just like presents and food and all this stuff, and then before you realized it, it passed, and you don't know exactly what you celebrated or.
Yeah. And do you think that this change would also make you feel more at home, or do you think that because of this rush that it's maybe translated into other parts of our lives, but because of this rush we don't really feel at home?
For me, 100%. So in this way, I would add tradition in my life. So not necessarily moving far away, or I don't know, maybe dressing up in the traditional costumes and stuff like that. But adding tradition in this kind of way, I think it will make me feel more connected and more at home. Because yes, exactly how you said it, in this constant sense of rush, I feel like you can't really have a grasp of like, oh, this is home.
Yeah, because I think this relates back to what we said about being individual. It's exactly because of this rush why people are so individualist. Like, I'm busy with school, and school ends, for example, this year right before Christmas. You can't think of anything else because you have assignments, or you have work to do if you're working, or you have, I don't know, there's a lot of things that you might need to do, and you rush to do them. And of course, it's because of that why you are so focused on yourself and not on the others, and why then you end up feeling not at home. Yeah. Because you would, like, realistically, you would need people to make you feel at home. You just don't consciously realize it, and then you also don't do anything in regards to that.
Yeah, and also this rush takes the pleasure out of things. And I was actually talking about this with a friend of mine, that we were thinking how cool it must have been back in the days when, let's say, you really wanted to read about an author or about an idea or a philosophy or something, and you had to go all the way to the library and like have to search for that particular book and then for that particular quote, and like the excitement must have been so big for finally finding what you looked for. So then everything had more purpose and more joy. But now it's a paradox, like everything is easier for us to access, like it's like one click away, and at the same time we don't have time.
Yeah.
So yes, that's my bottom line. I think this rushed lifestyle we have, with lack of tradition in it, with individualistic mindsets, is just making us feel more and more disconnected to the idea of home, and home as in the place, home as in the community, but also home as in our bodies. Like we're even disconnected to ourselves. We're just up here all the time in our head. What's the next thing to do? So yeah,
I do think that this is what's at fault. And then also, because we're talking about partners, then you end up, because everyone needs human connections, and then you end up projecting all of this frustration and all of these things onto your partner. And yeah, as you said, asking from your partner everything that you can, or like your life doesn't provide for you, which is not healthy at all.
Exactly. On your partner or on a family member if you don't have a partner, or if you don't have either, on social media, because that's why everybody's complaining these days on social media. Everybody's a victim, everybody's going through something, but it's because of this. Because when you feel like you are alone in this world handling everything by yourself, of course you need to throw the blame on somebody, on something.
I do I definitely agree, and I think that this hostile culture is at fault in my perspective.
Maybe that's a different topic. Maybe
Yeah.
we've been kind of all over the place with this episode in a way, but because I think home is just such a complex concept.
Yeah, and I do think that we kind of touched some really interesting points, and even it was very nice that we had that gratitude exercise at the beginning, because we took time for ourselves to actually, let it in and actually appreciate and acknowledge all the things that we've accomplished this year and what we're thankful for.
Yeah. So anything else you would like to add or ask or say?
I don't know. I would like people to, start conversations in the comment section and let us know what they think home is like and how do they experience this hustle culture that we're living in, and in what ways would they try to combat this and make their life more
Homey.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, from me, just like on a final note, since it's Christmas, maybe just try to enjoy home wherever you are or with whoever you are with.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. Maybe take a break from all the thoughts about the fact that you didn't find home or home is not exactly what you want or stuff like that, and just try to have at least a few days of enjoyment before you start seeking again.
Yeah, exactly. So, that was me. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annelies again.
And this is our podcast, Deep Diving, and we wish you happy holidays.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.